Oh, God.
White cheddar cheese. I've been I've been monitoring that post to make sure there's no voting comments. Hmm? No, I did not. No, no, but I'm monitoring comments to make sure people don't get sassy. Yes, I can. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was on the
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. We are going to start our meeting this evening with a Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. As we have started our tradition, we will begin with some recognitions this evening. Each month, the board wants to recognize those students whose contributions, students whose contributions or achievements are outstanding, employees who go above and beyond the call of duty, or community members whose generosity is greatly appreciated. So this month, we are pleased to recognize Mr. Gauthier. Mr. Gauthier has been named a master teacher, which is super duper cool, and speaks to his knowledge of his subject area, and he will be doing some professional development as a result of that, right, Mr. Gauthier? Right. Yes. It's a program that's 4 years, and it's much of professional development in the content area for 4 years. Fantastic. So congratulations. We're really excited for you. Next, we'd like to recognize the Duanesburg Community PTA for another fantastic Halloween bash. 2 Saturdays ago, very well attended, happy children, and also to the drama club this year. We had 7 members of the drama club that did a haunted hallway, ranging from 0 Fright Fest to 5 Fright Fest, depending on who was going through the hallway. So it was interactive and it was age appropriate, and we really appreciate that as well. And then to the Delancey Fire Department, Halloween here in Delancey, if you have not experienced it, please come next year. It really is one of those wonderful small town community events that we just love. So there was a trunk or treat, and they always open the firehouse with cider and donuts. They have volunteers, they have junior firefighters there. It's just really a great time. It was odd to be 75 degrees, but you know, usually it's a place you go to warm up, but it was really wonderful. And then I was just brought to my attention, evidently, it is election day. If you have not voted, please go exercise your civic right. The pre-K students learned about election day this morning and completed a full election process putting veggie straws against Cheez-Its. They did research, they presented advocates for both sides, and it would appear that Cheez-Its won 9-8, which, in my humble opinion, is ridiculous. But thank you to our pre-K teachers for being so creative in teaching about our democracy. Okay, anything else that I've missed? Anyone else? I did say drama club. Yes, thank you. Right? I did, right? Okay. All right. Next item. Oh my goodness, I feel like this is really loud. Board discussion of agenda. Do any board members have any questions or concerns about agenda items this evening? Okay. Then we will resolve upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the agenda for the regular meeting. May I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you, Francis. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lissa. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that brings us to our public comment section for the evening. I have one person that has expressed an interest in speaking, so you can come on up, Yvonne Keller-Baker. I will just read quickly our policy with regard to public expression. The board encourages public participation at board meetings during a specific portion of the agenda entitled Privilege of the Floor, Public Comment. Public comment section is not the time or place to register complaints about individuals or items that have not first been addressed through proper channels with those closest to the issue, such as a teacher, building principal, superintendent, or other appropriate party. Individuals making statements during privilege of the floor are expected to be courteous and respectful, modeling for our students how one can participate and have their voice heard in situations where there is agreement or disagreement with others' views. If members of the public have gone through proper channels and still wish to discuss a matter with the board, they can submit their comments in writing to the board clerk, and at its discretion, the board may invite visitors to its meetings to participate in the board's discussion of matters on the agenda. With that, Mrs. Keller-Baker.
Thank you. I'm not a big fan of microphones. I just want to say to the district, thank you for your support of Duanesburg Community PTA. We are lucky enough to have 4 administrators from this district attend a regional PTA dinner, including Ms. Ross. Why am I blanking? Ms. Conover, Mrs. Marvin, and Mrs. Snivell all attended a dinner at the Hilton. It wasn't Hilton, wherever it was in Troy on October 24th. Thank you for your support. I don't think we've ever had that many administrators participate, and we are thankful for the support in the district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I close public comment, is there anyone else that had wanted to say anything? Okay. Our next item is minutes. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the minutes of the regular meeting on October 1st, 2024. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Tony. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Sarah. Comments or questions on that meeting minutes? Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We are adding something to our agenda moving forward. I hope we're going to try it out today, but I think that we will keep it in. That's the hope. Forgive me for one moment. I'm looking for something. Okay. So that is new business discussion. So as a board, we would like to, we do a lot of discussing, we do a lot of reviewing, we do a lot of conversing and working together. And we wanted to bring more of that into public session. So we don't intend this to be a long part of the agenda, but we do want to sort of bring you up to speed on what's going on for us and what our priorities are and what's happening in the district as a whole. So this evening, we have a few things to report to you. I guess I have to go up there. Yes? Okay. Okay, you can click. All right. All right. So the first thing is that the October 20th through 22nd, there were 4 of us that attended the New York State School Boards Association Convention in New York City. So this is a picture of us to prove that we were there all together.
It looks like a hall.
And these are the things that so we were, in doing this, there are many, many, many workshops and seminars and programs that you can attend. It's really open to whatever you are interested in doing. You'll probably see some of our different interests in what we chose to attend. But I was able to attend a full day pre-convention board officers training, which was really wonderful. And the focus of that training was on improving climate, setting goals, overcoming erosions of trust with the community and within the school community, building our shared identity. I really came out of that feeling quite empowered and quite excited about what we can do. Many of you know, am a psychologist on my day job, so I attended several sessions with regard to student mental health and how to prioritize that and ensure that we're meeting students' needs. And then I also attended some seminars with regard to cultivating a positive relationship between the Board of Education and the superintendent and our other administrators, and very importantly, conducting superintendent evaluations, because that's how we have one employee, and that is Ms. Ross. She has all the other employees, but we have one, and our job is to ensure that she is working within the goals and mission of the board. So I attended a seminar on that as well. So that was me. Who's next? Celeste.
Was phenomenal. I strongly
Thank you, Celeste. Sarah.
Didn't know I was speaking.
It's all good. It doesn't have to be.
so-
Doesn't have to be long.
Yeah. The first day was a day-long law conference and how our laws and public service also fits into the education system. So I found that really thought-provoking, especially the last session was an interactive negotiation with a mediator when it came to contracts. So that had some really good takeaways in just how to, come together because ultimately we have to make these decisions and we want everyone to feel heard, not slighted, but usually it means everyone giving a little. So that was kind of interesting. There was a lot of talk at this convention regarding AI, and this is something we just can't ignore. So there were a lot of different perspectives I got on liking it and not liking it, and how to use it as a tool versus a cheat. So it's just kind of the Wild West right now, but just getting different perspectives on, AI and its capabilities right now and how we can probably channel it to use it to our advantage. And then I went to some other interesting topics like, Title IX, which I'm sure is going to be something that we get to discuss down the road together. And yeah, just a few other ones. I'll keep it short, but it was really a good conference and a lot of interesting material and good things to take away and digest.
And then I have to say we had a little bit of fun. We really did. We saw The Great Gatsby, which was amazing, and there was this really cool Rise New York. If you go to New York, it's like if you've been to Disney World or Epcot Center, the Soarin' ride. This is so you feel like you're paragliding over the city. It was super cool. Celeste, Sarah, and I might have done it twice. I just kept going around and getting back in line because it was really cool. We had a lovely meal at Nami Nori, which Miss Ross's daughter is the head chef in Soho. That was super fun. And so yeah, we did a lot of work, but we had a little bit of fun as well. So. And then the next thing, just very briefly, is that we are currently working diligently on refining our mission statement for the district and on developing goals. We have sort of recommitted to the annual development of goals for the district. So we're actively in the process of doing that. You guys okay if I mention the three sort of tenets that we've come up with? So at this point, we're actively rewriting our mission statement. We've done 2 workshops so far, a long workshop the other day, and then another meeting today. We're going to be meeting moving forward as well. So the 3 tenets that we are focusing on in terms of developing and tying our goals back to are integrity, pride, and community. And so our intention moving forward is that what we do is obvious to you how it ties back to integrity, pride, and community. So we'll be doing that, and before our next meeting in December, there will be an announcement going out. But if you would like to be part of the conversation of what that mission statement is going to look like and sound like, and what is important to you with regard to where our district is going, please join us at 5:45 before our December meeting. We are looking for input, and then our intention is to adopt the mission statement and goals in our January meeting. Anything else that anybody else wants to add? All right. With that, we will move on to our presentations. This evening we have a presentation from our artists, Amanda Chauvin and Shelby Terwilliger. So if they would like to come up and give us some information, we're very excited to hear about the art program.
Almost. Are you excited?
I am excited.
I can tell. I love that. So I've been doing this job for 12 years here at Duanesburg Elementary. Before that, I've been teaching for collectively almost 20. And each year, since about 3 years ago, I've invited students to make art with me doing something called Inktober. All right? So this artist known as Jake Parker is wonderful. He creates this prompt list of 31 different words, All right? So if you'd like, take a peek at some of their drawings. They look good.
They're so cool.
So this club is awesome. It's offered to fourth, fifth, and sixth graders. I think we had more fourth graders this year and than we had in prior years. We only had 4 sixth graders that came, but some of those sketchbooks were really incredible. So the reward at the end of 31 days is you get a copy of all of my drawings. Okay? Because I do it too. So I'll let you see these two. I only brought a couple. They're on my classroom wall. If you'd like to see them in their entirety, I'll give them to Melissa and you can pass them around.
I think I might be one of the guys that quit after day one.
Oh, stop it. There's gotta be better ones,
No,
right?
there's none.
So the one that says Ava on it, that one's really nice. And so it's a pencil under drawing, and they get a pen, they can change the pen, they can do the color, they can put in different things if they want to. Um, it's a way for them to start the year off really wonderful. So October leaves, November begins. Session 3, I alternate weekly from November to March. I open to fourth and fifth graders. We're learning about artistic behaviors. Essentially, we do some things that I come up with, but honestly, I like this to be kid-driven. I want them to make what they want to make. All right? And we collaborate. Lots of collaboration. Now, things we've done in art. What we really do in art club is we make memories, guys. Some of those fourth graders, Lucille and Tyler, I take them outside, I let them run up the back hill and roll their way down. After we talk about Andy Goldsworthy, and we're gathering stuff in the woods to make things out of. So we went for a stroll in the woods, we got materials, made sculptures. I love them experimenting with all kinds of materials. I like to appreciate the seasons, so we do a lot of that stuff. Yes, there's lots of play because if there's one thing that a child will say to you is, I want to do play. So student-driven art. Don't have a lot of pictures of it on my front list. Got a couple of examples recently. We talked about art supplies, and some of us stay within our comfort zone. And some of us kind of hop out of it. It's wonderful. That's what art club really is essentially for. And sometimes we don't look just pretty. We go some places. But still, we're there, we're
We could get them set up here at 5:45.
Does anyone have any questions? Are you, yes? You have more? Anybody have any questions from the board for our art club folks?
These are awesome.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
This
much.
is really great. Very happy to see it. Oh, yes, give those back. You have to give the things back, Mrs. Chauvin. Okay, our next presentation is regarding a student safety course proposal from Mr. Falco.
Oh, but thank you. I don't have to go up on the stage, right?
If you don't want to.
No,
You can
how about-
project, right?
I can project. How about I come right in the middle and everyone can
Someone
see me?
should flip on their microphone though, so it goes out over the stream.
How about I flip on the mic?
There you go.
Where is it? Oh, it's on. It's on. All right, so I'm not here, Spencer Falco. I've been here forever, so, you know. I'm not here to debate people tonight. I know everyone has their own philosophies and their own ideology, which kind of brought up a neat point about integrity. So outside of the school, I do a lot of things. One of the things that I do is I'm a firearm instructor. I'm going to say guns. I'm a hunter ed instructor. I'm a NRA certified range officer. So I deal a lot with that. With hunter ed, I'm a master instructor in the state of New York. One of the things that we've kind of got away with, or away from over the last years, thanks to COVID, is we are no longer able to do those in-person courses. Why are we doing the in-person courses? Because the state of New York has decided that doing them online is more feasible, which means more profit for different stakeholders. As a result of that, I guess I would ask you, is it convenient to go out and get my driver's license online? The answer is absolutely yes. Is it convenient for me to go out online and get my hunter license? The answer is yes. But the big problem that you have, unless you've been blessed enough to have that grandfather or that grandparent or that relative in your life to kind of guide you and mold you along the way, is you lose years of experience and knowledge from those members. Over the last few years, I've watched courses go from 15, 20, in some cases 30, 40, down to nothing. So my proposal tonight is to start another club, but I want it to be a true outdoor club, not something called outdoors, not something that's environmental, but something where I can take children outside and we can go foraging. We can look at the mushrooms, we can look at the trees, we can identify it. It was something that was started years back, but unfortunately a lot of that was ripped apart to put in a new track, a new fields, and all that. So a lot of that was lost. In that, I want to embed hunter ed. I've gotten a blessing from the state through DVC. I have a blessing from a club. I'm part of a 14-plus 100-member club. I'm the vice president there for many years, where we can take what we do in the class and then extend it there. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the blessing of the board, the blessing of the administration, the blessing from all parties to be able to start that club, to embed hunter education in there, to reach out to that niche. We have stuff for art, we have stuff for sports. We don't have that aspect. And the fact that we live in the country and most homeowners do own firearms, I don't like to give anyone the chance. I would never let my kids do that. I don't want other kids to do that. And right now, currently, I can't tell you how many students in Waynesburg have come all the way to Glenville on their free time to spend an entire Friday night, a Saturday, and sometimes 4 nights to do a course. So I'm looking for that lesson where we can have that course. We've run it 10 months. Hunter ed is embedded in there. The kids learn everything. There's a lot that I'm not going to talk about tonight because of media people. We have to be cognizant of that. And those are the things that we refine as we go on. But I did this program with Schoharie Schools. I don't know if you know Superintendent Blanchard. I would say reach out to him. Ask him his experience, because So we have educators, we have teachers, we have kids all being part of this. So I'm looking to take Hunter Red to that next level, have the kids do their course here. When we're ready to do certain practicums, we go to a different location at no cost. So I know that's a lot. I know that it's a 5-minute kind of spiel. I know I'm getting some eyes. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? I know I can go on about this for hours, and I know that there are probably going to be tons of questions that you may or may not have. I would suggest jot them down. Maybe Superintendent Ross can give it to me, or you can pass it to Mrs. Conover, and she can give it to me. And I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to anyone about anything, and then we can go from there.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Conklin right now?
No, I think this is awesome. My question is actually for Ms. Ross and Mr. Ivanberg. We have a process for clubs to become clubs, right?
Yes, we do, and I think the process is that when someone wants to start a new club, they get get it off the ground the first year, and then if they're successful getting it off the ground the first year, then we can embed it within their contract with an MOA. Yes.
Yeah. So I absolutely think this makes sense, and it's going to appeal to all kinds of kids. So I don't see any reason not to. And following the process that's in place, make it part of the Joinsburg community.
And to kind of piggyback on that, we don't have to stop at just children.
Right.
If we want family members, if we want parents, if we want anyone to come out, it's an open course. It's free to the public, provided you go to an in-person course.
Sure.
If you want to spend that 40, 60 bucks and take that tuition, go ahead, but you're going to miss that rich experience. I know you had a question.
Is it on? I was just curious, you said you were going to take some of the in-classroom learning to take it outside. So is it going to be like a hybrid? And then you also said something, everything's outside. Could you just clarify for me?
So you're going to have your traditional program. You know, when you do a traditional course, you're going to go, there's homework that the children have. You take it for what it is. I don't know that you're doing it, so I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. There's that expectation that's done. When you get to the course, kind of just to snip some pieces, there's lectures. So once you make that ethical shot, and these are words that we're going to use. Ethical shot. You know, what is ethical shot? You know, what is ethical? Ethical. So once you've taken that shot, now we're going to go to the woods and we're going to do a simulation on the lecture. So they're going to go, they're going to look for signs. Or maybe we're going to do zone 5. I mean, how many of you know what your zone 5 is? You know, if you bring your arms, you know, I'm only going to shoot, and again, I'm using shooting terms. I'm only going to shoot here. If I have a person here, what are now my restrictions? So there's a lot of things that people do not think about. You know, they only see in video games or here. And you know what? A lot of times what you hear from grandma and grandpa may not be the right thing. So our goal at the end of the day is to be responsible, ethical, and decent.
I think this is great. Yeah.
Anybody else any questions? I'll just comment, Mr. Helga, I agree. I think there is a large percentage of our community here in Duanesburg that own firearms, that are hunters, are my family included. Very, very excited about upcoming deer season in our household. But I think it is so important to have that in-person training, as you say, and give that to the community. So yeah, this sounds great. So I presume we'll converse about it otherwise, and maybe we'll see it on our next agenda. Very good. Thank you. All right. Last presentation is from Ms. Wilson about the fall sports recap.
Just constantly short-shamed by the microphone. All right. So in total this year, we had 6 varsity sports. I'm standing right. All right. We'll make it a hot mic. There we go. All right. So first one we're going to talk about is varsity volleyball. They currently have an 8-9 record. They made it to sectionals for their 4th year in a row, which is phenomenal. And they actually are competing tomorrow night in the Class D semifinals. I believe ticket information went out on Parent Square already as well. And you can see the WAC All-Stars are classified because they are not allowed to be released until after sectionals. So didn't want to ruin that for the kids earlier than not. But that's pretty big for them to go to the semifinals tomorrow night. So best of luck to them. Did I miss one? Okay. Varsity girls soccer. They finished 11-6 overall this year, 8-3 in the WAC. This is the first year our varsity team and all 3 levels of girls soccer were combined with Burn Knox. They ranked 9th in their sectional seeding. They lost in sectionals to a tough team, but they overall had a wonderful season, and the combining of the 2 teams went better than anyone could have hoped for. And again, it's another classified All-Stars. Can't quite release that one just yet, but those All-Stars will be released on the banquet for all fall sports on the 14th. All right, and I'm sure you've heard about the varsity boys and how far they made it this year. All right, they had an overall record of 13-4-2. They were the regular season WAC champions with a record of 9-1, which is phenomenal. In sectionals, they were the number 5 seed. I believe they broke the drought. Is that right, Declan? Yeah, we finally broke the drought and won a sectional game. So they beat Bolton, Warrensburg, who were undefeated and number 2 in the state, which is phenomenal. They made it to the sectional semifinals. They had to play an incredibly tough team in the semifinals, but they put up a really good fight. And these All-Stars we do actually have. So our first team All-Stars were Jansen Prue, Joey Harris, and Logan Capusta, and our second team went to Jack Jewett. So congratulations to those guys on a phenomenal season. All right, varsity swim. All right, they are currently undefeated in Division II competition. We got very lucky that when we merged all 3 schools that we stayed within D2 and didn't have to move up to D1. So they came in 4th at the Shannon Invitationals, which was for D1 and D2 schools. This Friday and Saturday, there are sectionals at Shen. If you've never attended a swim sectional, it is the most fun you'll probably ever have in an event. It is so interactive. It's almost like a play versus like WWE combined with swimming. It is very, very fun. But those start at 10 a.m. and a parent square is going to be going out, I believe, tomorrow for ticket information. And our 3 swimmers on the Mohan Shalmont Duanesburg swim team all qualified for relays and individual events at this sectionals. So that is pretty phenomenal, and we're hoping for really good things from them. All right, cross country. Cross country is one of those fun sports because there's a little bit more flexibility within their schedules. So we actually had 5 dual sport athletes on that team, which is pretty phenomenal. Whether they played soccer or volleyball or golf, it's pretty fun to see those kids be able to run and do another sport. Overall, the girls were 4-5 this season. The boys were 2-7. The girls placed 2nd in WAC, which is phenomenal, and the boys placed 9th. Our all-stars for the boys was Nate Lind, who placed 8th in the WAC championships. And then for the girls, we had Lakeland Lodato, who is a 7th grader. She placed 2nd at the WAC, which is pretty phenomenal. And Stella Hyde, who placed 4th. They also have sectionals this Saturday in Queensbury, and that parent square is also going out. And they're hoping to send a few to state, so I wish them all the best of luck as well. All right, and because we can't stop talking about golf, for varsity golf in general, we had 13 total golfers and 3 were girls. They had a 12-2 record and 2nd in the WAC, and Mr. Scalakamp loves to bring up the only reason they're 2nd in the WAC is because of Cobuskill, because they joined the WAC this year. But besides that, they had a phenomenal season. Colin Lucier placed 3rd in the WAC Cup. The WAC MVP went to Porter Lucido. Our first team All-Stars were Chloe Galvin and Jack Capron, and our second team All-Stars were Evan Williams and I think Aiden Fall. That's a little typo. For the Section 2 tournament, Porter and Colin both qualified, and Porter qualified for the first day of competition for the state team, which is the 6th golfer in our team history to do so, which is pretty phenomenal. And then Chloe Galvin qualified for sectionals for the 3rd year in a row. She's the first girl golfer from Duanesburg and the WAC to make it out to compete, or make the cut to compete for the state team, which is also pretty phenomenal for her. So overall, these guys do a phenomenal job, especially with the challenges of the individual versus the team aspect of golf. So they did a wonderful job this year. And then our fun facts. We offer 14 different sports and levels in the fall. We are merged in 3 different sports. So obviously, Helderberg Valley football with Notre Dame Bishop Gibbons and Bern Knox. We did not have a varsity football team this year, but we did have a modified team, and they went undefeated this year. We have the Beagle soccer program that we're merged with BKW. And we have the MSD swim program with Mohan and Shalmont, which has brought a lot of great opportunities to these kids who may not necessarily have had that opportunity. We had a total of 17 senior athletes, and then we had 49% of the student population participate in athletics this year, which is a pretty crazy number. And then last thing, or second to last thing, winter sports begin on the 18th for JV and varsity, and the 25th for modified. And the fall sports banquet is going to be on the 14th at 6:30. So all levels are welcome, even though I only presented on the varsity levels. We'll be recognizing every single team throughout the fall season.
Do you have any questions or comments?
Katie, first of all, I don't think this is working. Doesn't matter. Thank you, Katie. I have a question. The girls volleyball is at Hudson or Hudson Falls? Because it's all right. Because you put Hudson, that's north, that's south. Yeah, Hudson Falls. Okay. And you're gonna, I'm sure you're gonna see on the agenda. I want to thank you for all your commitment and dedication to our kids. I am incredibly grateful that you have chosen to step back into the coaching world and have more a hands-on approach working with our children. I'm sure Mr. Simpson is going to lean on you for guidance and for help during this transition. But I know the board will probably say a few words themselves, but I wanted to publicly acknowledge that we're incredibly grateful for you, your leadership, and your continued commitment to our kids.
Yeah, we'll probably talk during the thing, during the actual personnel thing. But I guess we don't. We could do it now. Yeah. Is this?
We've got her up there. Let's make her uncomfortable.
We got her up there.
It's not
She's
working.
running away. She's quickly.
She's leaving. She's
Move
leaving.
faster.
All right.
Hello?
Thank you, Ms. Coates. Thank you for all of your work. Thank you for this presentation. That was awesome. And congratulations. I see a few athletes here in the room right now. Congratulations. Well done. We are incredibly proud of you. But we'll circle back to you later. And this isn't working.
Yeah, that's not working.
All right, so his is working. So I'll use his.
But it's mine.
Are you taking over? All right. Next up on the agenda, superintendent's report from Ms. Ross.
Okay, so my microphone's not working, so I'm going to use my teacher voice. Just going to be really brief. I want to say a congratulations to Ms. Naminsky. So we found out we had hired her with anticipation of resurrecting our business programs. And she was a 1 through 6 certified teacher who came from the business world, business and marketing world. And we found out yesterday that her certification finally came through. So we have an official business teacher on the December agenda. We'll change her tenure track and appointment. And we're excited. She's hit the ground running, trying to resurrect the school store, and then eventually Futures Business Leaders of America. Reminder, Veterans Day Assembly is on Friday. Mary Claire, as always, is going to knock it out of the park, setting up this week, today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So I'm gladly going to be helping her on Thursday, setting up and doing a welcoming address. So that's at 9 a.m. on Friday. Parent conferences start next Wednesday. Traditional at the elementary level. A lot of parents do choose to do virtual, which is great. I did share with the board in their weekly update the course failures. Just want to reiterate that Mrs. Marvin has a really great process in place that any student who's failing gets an official hard letter and also a phone call from school counselors saying that they have to meet for a parent conference. So she's tackling it right away. And then last but not least, we had the leadership team and I working with our instructional coach from BOCES, had a preliminary meeting in developing a process for creating a true middle school model. As we consider moving 6th grade over next year after the project is complete, we want to make sure that we're creating a model that's not just geography that were focused on academics and social, emotional, cultural, and leadership for our children. So more information for that's to come. We'll start with an internal steering committee that will gather feedback both internally and externally, leading up to a community forum. We're shooting for March for a community forum to present to the community, answer questions, get feedback before any final plans are put in place. That's it.
Did you want to mention what you did at the conference?
Oh, sorry, it just seems like it was a million years ago. I'm going to be selfish and say that the highlight of my conference was that I was selected with a colleague to present. You put submissions in, and it's pretty competitive. And it was on a day and time we didn't think where we would get any participants. Our presentation, which has taken us months to do and review and tweak and practice, is called the Engagement Circus: how to bring the 3 rings of stakeholders into the center ring, but using AI technology. We were pleasantly surprised that over 100 people attended our session. The feedback from the feedback survey came back saying that most people, like Sarah said, the Wild West of AI, terrified to use it, but because we literally walked them through each step of the way, refining their prompts, that folks were just very pleased and took some of the fear away. So that was the highlight of it, in addition to going to dinner and things like that. But I did attend some workshops that, I've been doing this for a while, so some of the workshops were repetitive. So when they talk about, negotiating contracts and things like that, there wasn't anything that I walked away and went, wow, I didn't know that. But I really did enjoy leaning into the mental health and wellness of students and staff, as well as I'm pretty savvy with the new technology with AI, but learning more about it and how to use it effectively, ethically, and efficiently.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions from the board? All right. Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Rivenberg.
So I just have a couple things to say tonight. Number one is this year, as we have began to see some of the data come in for our free lunch program. As you know, that the high school also got CEP classification this year. So it's really helped our kids to be able to get a lunch and have a full tummy to go back to class and learn.
Breakfast as well.
And breakfast, yeah, as well. So just in October alone, Duanesburg Central School has actually served 2,440 more meals than last October. More meals. And then since the junior senior high school became CEP just this year, we've served 1,063 more meals than last October. So this is a huge accomplishment, and it's looking great. I mean, the lunch lines are long, but that will be fixed hopefully with the new capital project as well. So that does actually address that issue as well. So. And then the other thing that I would like to address is the capital project. So first of all, we've had challenge after challenge with shipping delays with this capital project, but the workers are on site and they're doing as much as they can when with what they have. So the playground still has some delays, but about 90% of the playground will be finished by the end of this week. And then we've got a couple more things for the one component that's left in the playground. The Jeep has some parts that are still being shipped right now. So the newsletter that's coming out will mention that the playground will likely be playable at least by Thanksgiving weekend. Wish it were sooner, but again, we've done everything we possibly can to try and get that lined up so that we can get it done as soon as possible. So at least it will be ready for the spring, but hopefully the kids will be able to play on it before the snow flies. Roofing, everything went really well with the roofing this fall. So the elementary school roof, they're actually just wrapping up early next week at the elementary. And then we will be continuing some of the open parts that we had started earlier in the summer. We'll be starting that back in the spring. As you know, we shifted some of our project from the elementary school to the high school due to some changes. Not budgetarily, but just we had to just shift because there were some adjustments in engineering. But the high school, the 4 areas are all being completed. They think they were completed today, but the areas that have been finished are the library, the gymnasium, and the girls' locker room. So those areas all have brand new roofing on it, and now we won't see any leaks in those areas for the springtime when the snow starts to melt. Yeah, right. But you will see people still on site, just doing some cleanup on both roofs now. They are gonna start to pack away some of the roofing stuff. They don't plan on leaving roofing materials to blow around for the wintertime, so they are gonna try and warehouse most of that stuff. I think they understand the Duanesburg winds, right?
I bet though that would be great to slide down the hill on.
Yeah, probably, but those are pretty expensive sleds. I also will mention that I know Celeste had mentioned the electric bus thing. We are doing a study so that it's not just us or not just the state telling us what we need to do. So through BOCES, we RFP'd, and they're actually, NYSERDA is going to pay for that study to be done so that they can tell us what routes can actually be focused on for electric and which buses are just totally impossible. So more to come on that. We're just getting started in data collection right now for them so that they can start to do their study.
So Jeff, will that be us and other school districts that are questioning how
Yep.
this is possible in our more rural setting?
Correct.
That what
So
we're talking about? Okay.
yeah, so the whole Capital Region actually did, the Capital Region BOCES did an RFP for us to get a company, an outside engineering company to come in and do a study to look at mileage, to look at routes, to look at all aspects of what we have to do in transportation to get kids to and from school. So there's a lot of data collection that they're asking for us now, and we're having to give them routes. And we've got buses that I think one of them is well over 100 miles in just one route. So we've got a lot of buses that just definitely they have to focus on whether they're going to be able to do this or not.
I think it's great though that you're actually trying to found out the data.
Yeah.
I think the elevation changes, none of that is understood. I think
Right.
past the hill towns. So
Right.
It's great.
I mean, imagine going up Mudge Road in the wintertime, right?
I appreciate this. Yeah, right. And I appreciate this being intentional and way before our deadlines of having
Sure.
to roll things out. I think that that's great. So thank you so much.
That's it.
I got a new microphone, but I heard it's really loud, so I'm going to be really cautious. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. It's really loud, isn't it? Okay. All right. One more change to sort of the way we are operating our meetings so that you don't have to listen to me drone on for every single action that we have to take. We are going to try out what's called a consent agenda. So I'm going to ask for a motion to on the recommendation of our superintendent to approve all of our financials, all of our personnel, all at once. So you'll see how that works, and hopefully that will limit our time here. Okay.
As a change to make that transparent, we're going to try to make sure that the agenda is printed at
Oh,
the front
yes,
door.
thank you, yes.
And remind everyone that it's all available on board docs 2 days before meetings.
Right, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
So that's why you have access to the agenda, so you can see all the things that we're approving. Okay, so we're going to start with financial items. And may I have a motion that, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approves financial items 7.01 through 7.08. Thank you, Avis. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Sarah. Comments or questions about the financial items? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next, personnel items. Again, may I have a motion as recommended by the superintendent of the approval of personnel items 8.01 through 8.12? Thank you, Ray. A second? Thank you, Tony. Comments or questions?
I would just like to, of course, say, like we were going to say, how thankful I am for Katie Wilson's time. Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine. I'll use this voice. Particularly rehydrating our program coming out of COVID, which I'm sure had its own set of enormous challenges that no one has ever dealt with before. and just continuing through, and the level of excellence has been great. I've really appreciated your time, and I'm so glad you're staying with the community. Anyone else?
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Wilson. And thank you, Mr. Simpson, for stepping into this role as our athletic coordinator. And I'm sure that it will be a joint venture for a little while. But we do appreciate, to Francis's point, sort of the reinvigoration of our sports program, athletic program, I think it's where we're small but mighty, right? And I think that presentation really demonstrates that nicely. So. Okay, any other comments or questions with regard to personnel? All in favor of approving our personnel items? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next item is, I think I should just read this one, right, because it's just one. Recommended action for pupil services. The recommendation, the Board of Education accept the recommendation of the CSE meeting and their minutes from the September 25th, 27th, 30th, October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 8th, 9th, 11th, 18th, 21st, 24th, and 28th, 2024 meetings as submitted. May I have a motion? Thank you, Francis. A second? Thank you, Tony. And I think that I joked last meeting that Ms. Schneibel was not so busy, and clearly she is now. So thank you. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We have two informational items for you. Just that we are acknowledging, right, the family medical leave absence of one of our employees that has been, that is happening, right? No, December. Happening in December through February. Obviously, we can't talk about who that is or for what, but we do have that happening. And then also just an update for the community that we have co-coordinators for DASA, which stands for Dignity for All Students Act. So at the elementary level, Ms. Dana Kamer, who is one of our school counselors, is the coordinator for the elementary school, and Kendra Shadina, who is one of our English teachers at the high school, is now the coordinator for the high school. So that is just for everyone's information. They are working really hard on we're building positive culture. They have a plan in place. There was a community forum a couple of weeks ago, and there will be more coming up. So please note those. And if you have comments and want to be part of that conversation, please do come to those meetings. But they are also working to make all the information around those concerns a little bit more user-friendly on our website, so we appreciate their work on that.
So I was going to update the board on my weekly update. So I had my monthly meeting with them today because they are my soldiers marching forward and improving positive culture. They are pretty much done with pushing into every 7-12 classroom, presenting about anti-bullying, what bullying is, what bullying isn't, what's unkind. On our staff development day, they held a workshop training teachers, talking about skills and strategies of when they intervene, to not just tell a student to stop being unkind, but what they can do. So the work continues. They released a Google site to make it easier for students or families or even staff to file a DASA complaint or an anti-bullying. So the presentation that they did for the board, was it August? I think it was August, maybe September. They're on target for everything that they've had planned. So we're going to continue to meet. We're going to shoot forward to continue that conversation in January for a community forum. So very pleased and proud of the two of them. They're really working great as a team and trying to be as impactful as possible.
Very good. All right. With that, we'll have a motion to adjourn our meeting at 7:31 p.m. Thank you, Ray. A second? Thank you, Lissa. Comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you to our presenters and our administrators for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Get out and vote. Hello?